What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Honest Tattooer Podcast. My name is John Mesa, and I'm joined by not my co-host, because Matriano has unfortunately had an emergency. He's not with us today, but Hermes.
Hey, what's up?
You know what? No. Hold on. Let me back my boy up. Hermes is like that, like when you were in school and you had a substitute teacher, but it was the cool one.
He is the cool one.
Yeah. And you were like, oh.
G Money.
What's good?
Welcome back, bro.
I know, it's good to be back. I was missing in action because I went to a friend's wedding, which went well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool. Lots
Sweet.
of laughs, like big reunions. It was pretty tight. Long overdue.
And before we get to our guests, we want to make sure that we shout out our sponsors. Honest Tattooer Podcast is brought to you by Tattoo Pro, Tattoo Smart, Steadfast Tattoo Brand, and who am I blanking out? I'm blanking out on somebody.
It's okay.
Because I'm breaking out the format.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, if you want to support the podcast, the best way to do it is by one, liking this video, but also to visit our sponsors and make sure that you visit honesttattooer.com. On to our guests. Andi, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
For those that don't know you, let them know your full name, where you're from, how long you've been tattooing, and what kind of tattoos you like to do.
I'm Andi Ink. I'm a Chicago tattooer. I've been tattooing for 6 years now. And I always kind of describe my style as like illustrative dot work. Like it's all soft black and gray, kind of neo-trad influence, but stippled shading, lots of dot work action and line work.
And I'm sorry, how long you been tattooing?
I've been tattooing for 6 years now.
6 years.
Yeah,
Damn.
baby tattooer.
Man.
Crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Well-
especially your work looks really good for 6 years.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, good job.
6 years now is definitely like advanced with how much like information we have now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
With how much information is out there. And then obviously I come and guest at No Idols. Like I think guesting and doing conventions and stuff like that's like one of the best ways to kind of improve your craft. And I'm real big on doing that. I'm always on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. What's
That's
your next stop?
Doing the Hudson Valley Tattoo Convention this weekend.
And these guys are going to be over there.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be listening to this after it already happened. So.
Boo.
So it's not like you guys will be able to see them, but I'm unfortunately not doing that show with you guys, but
You usually do.
I usually do it. I usually do. Maybe next year I will do it because then my birthday,
Yeah.
my son's birthday will shift.
Right. It won't be the same weekend.
It
Yeah.
won't be the same weekend.
Mhm.
So do you guys have appointments? You guys have like walk-ups planned up? What do you have?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing walk-ups. I'm just going to be there waiting for stuff, promoting myself, just, trying to lure the suckers in.
Coming right up. Got
Yeah.
tats.
Yeah.
What about you, Hermes?
I have a good balance between the two. So I have 2 appointments on Friday. Saturday, I'm doing walk-ups. And then I have another couple-hour tattoo on Sunday. So I'm really happy about it.
Nice.
You know.
Good
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Sweet. What about you?
I'm going to do walk-ups all weekend. I'm stoked.
Walk-ups.
Yeah. I got my flash book. I got some pre-drawings, prints to sell. I
That's-
love doing walk-ups. I love
Mhm.
it's
Me
like
too.
one of
I
my
do.
favorite parts about conventions is just talking to people. So
Yes,
Same.
absolutely.
Same.
I was like saying earlier when we were guys talking about conventions, like every time I go to a show now, unless I have an appointment, I just want to hang out and I want to like walk around. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
if I don't have an appointment, I'm like, sweet. I get to
Yeah.
go walk around and see other people tattoo. And even like at the shop, like we were usually tattooing, even though we are talking to each other, but I can't go watch you tattoo,
yeah.
Right.
most of the time, usually like on the side tattooing.
Well, I always think conventions are so fun. I always like call them like summer camp friends. Like that's how I feel about tattoo conventions. Like
That's a
tattooer
good way to
summer
look at
camp.
it.
Like, the season is starting now and like you're texting everybody that you always see at shows and like, oh, what shows are you doing this year? Are you going to do this one? I'm going to do that one. Like getting all stoked to see my friends that like being internet friends is great. Love talking to tattooers online and shooting the shit all the time. But it really is like summer camp, right? You're just like together all the time. You like wake up with whoever you're rooming with, like immediately you're talking about tattoos. You go work a long ass convention day where you tattoo all day. Then you go to an after party, you hang out with more tattooers.
Yeah.
It's just like 5 days of nonstop
Yeah.
community.
So right.
I remember those days.
I know, right?
People, tattooers who travel from far away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
people that
always
you
fun.
like, that's the only time you ever see them.
Yeah, true.
Uh,
International friends.
There's a friend from Colombia. I haven't seen her in years, and she's going to be in the convention. So,
Sweet.
Yeah, right? Fucking stoked.
Laura, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, like, it's crazy too. Like, you're from Europe, so you've done a lot of those shows. It's like the same things happening, like kind of like a circuit of people, but just the Europe convention circuit is very different than the convention circuit out here, I feel like.
I agree. I mean, I've only done Greece, which I don't think represents entire Europe. But yeah, it's good to see familiar faces. And I feel in Greece, I know more tattooers than actual people, like clients.
And clients.
So I'll go and mingle. I'll tattoo some, and then hang with friends I haven't seen all year.
Shit. Well, this is always the part of the story where we shift all to you.
Oh, all on me. All on me
Yeah.
now. Cool.
Hello.
So 6 years ago, what were you doing?
I feel like a lot of people have this where it's like, where did you learn how to tattoo and where did you apprentice? So I had a 2-year apprenticeship. I know a lot of people count their apprenticeships towards their tattooing. I did 6 tattoos over the course of 2 years. So I just don't count it at all.
Yeah, if you were in like...
I wasn't
tattooing.
I wasn't tattooing.
Yeah.
So I was in university at the time, and a bunch of my friends had been getting tattooed by the same guy for years. And literally at like a house party, somebody was just like, "Oh, did you hear? Like he fired his apprentice. She was batshit crazy, like going off about whatever they were talking about." And I was like, "Okay, so there's an opening." What I'm hearing is there's an opening. So I like went the next day with my portfolio. At the time, I was doing my like body of work focused on printmaking, specifically lithography and woodblock,
Mhm.
and then metalworking. I used to do metal sculptures, specifically like iron and bronze foundry work. And so I went in with my portfolio, and I was like, "These are the art forms I do," and we talked about it for a while. And printmaking and metalworking are both like slow and tedious, and he was like, "So is tattooing. So this might work out for you if like that's what you enjoy." So I finished my degree, and so our agreement was just like, if I wasn't in class, I was at the shop.
Yeah.
So I finished my degree, and my apprenticeship kind of just slowly came to an end. It was just kind of weird, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do now.
But at that point, you'd done like 6 tattoos.
I had done 6 tattoos, and I'm like, I don't have like a portfolio. Like no one's going to hire me. I don't really feel ready to be hired either.
Yeah.
And some friends of mine like knew this was the situation I was in, and was like, okay, well, like, you can come tattoo at my shop. You can tattoo your friends, build a portfolio, and then move on from there. And I ended up staying at that shop for 4 years. So
Cool.
Shit,
it worked out.
Cool.
Yeah. But I feel like that's really where I learned how to tattoo. And it was like all realism guys and then me. But I think that's definitely where like the kind of like soft stippling, softer shading style. Like I feel like I did learn so much technically being there.
Oh yeah, for sure. You pick up things as you go along.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it shapes like your stuff.
Yeah, I think that was a huge influence on the way I tattoo.
Absolutely. The people you work with will like kind of mold like techniques that maybe you don't apply them in the way that they do it in their work, but you'll make your own voice will shine through that.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's always kind of a thing. Like that first shop where you work after your like apprenticeship, that's like where you sew like
That's where you learn how to tattoo.
That's
like
where you
for
learn
real.
how to tattoo.
Yep.
That's when like the training wheels came off and
Yeah.
nobody's over your. They were just like, all right, just do your thing.
And
You'll do some great
your hands-
tattoos.
Yeah, you get your
You'll do-
hands dirty. For real.
Yeah. Some good tattoos, some horrible tattoos.
I know.
But that's how you learn.
Yeah. You make mistakes. You make improvements. You have like light bulb moments too. You know what I mean? At least I did.
Shit, yeah.
Hey, I'm Russ Abbott. I am the founder of Tattoo Smart. I've also been tattooing for over 25 years. I use digital design tools in my tattoo process every day. And in this case, this video is going to explain a new product that I just created called the washi set. Now, the washi set is 17 handmade papers from Japan that I photographed and then turned into paper texture backgrounds, which you can use in Procreate. It also includes 21 different brushes that were designed for using with these papers, or it could be used with any background that you choose. As always, if you're interested in purchasing this or any of our other products, you can get them at tattoosmart.com.
So like, how was it for you like during lockdown when you couldn't tattoo and you've been tattooing at that point for like maybe like 4 years, right?
That would have been because 6 years ago, so that's 2019. So like that was my first like full year of tattooing was like right before lockdown.
Oh shit.
And then I mean lockdown in Chicago was pretty short. It was like just 3 months of no tattooing, and then
Like here.
yeah, right. And then we were just back where they're like you have to wear masks and nobody can have guests.
Bunch of other things, yeah.
But there was then like the kind of big pickup in the industry. That tattoo boom was really very real. So
Oh yeah.
I feel like even just that kind of timing for me, it was like busy. There was like lots of clients, lots to tattoo. And I was like, I'm just stoked. I'm just always stoked to be tattooing. I talk about this a lot with people who ask me about like, oh, I want to get into tattooing and whatever. My thing is always, if you're getting into tattooing because you specifically want to put like your artwork on people, maybe that sounds kind of harsh, but I don't think that's like the right way to look at it. Like I always tell people, if tomorrow, nobody wanted a lady face from me, dude, whatever walk-ins are coming in the door. Like when I was that first year of tattooing, 2019, I was the one taking most of the walk-ins at the shop I was at.
Mm-hmm.
And not even just because other people were just too busy, people were passing on, Pinterest tattoos and whatever. But I was always just like, yeah, like give me those Roman numerals. Like this is a technical challenge. Like I want to make this crispy. This can apply to the rest of my work. And I just truly love tattooing, like the art of tattooing and connecting with my clients. And like, I'm happy to do walk-ins. I'm happy to do I love.
Is there
doing
any
walk-ups.
tattoos that you'll like pass up on at this point?
At this point, because I'm really lucky to be busy and I can't tattoo everybody who wants to get tattooed by me. There's just not enough time. It's just not possible. I do pass on projects that I feel like someone else would do better. Like either it's just not my wheelhouse or kind of like what I feel like is my specialty, like style wise. I get asked a lot for like proper, like soft black and gray photorealism, which is just not what I do. My stuff has that kind of stippled look. And if that's not what you're looking for, then, there's someone else. There's so many amazing realism artists in Chicago. Like someone else can crush it. And I'm always happy to recommend other people too, that like, if somebody emails me for something and I don't think I'm right, I will give you like specific names of like, oh, if you like my work, but you want this style, like you should check out X, Y, and Z. I think that would be good.
That's nice of you.
I want everyone to do good tattoos. And if you're like, if I'm excited about the project, that's when I do my best work. Right. So I truly feel like in the best interest of the client to be with somebody that their body of work reflects what they're looking to get. So far as just like silly little things, I don't like tattooing hummingbirds and I refuse to do them.
Oh, hummingbirds are cool.
It's just like a real random one.
Everyone's got their like, this is where I draw the line.
This is where I draw
and yours is hummingbird.
I know, it's a really weird specific one.
Very specific.
I love tattooing birds, so I do get asked to do them a lot. But hummingbirds, hummingbirds do one thing. They do that little hover pose.
Yeah.
That's what people want.
That's what they want.
I've done that tattoo. I've run out of different ways to do that tattoo. Whereas like any other bird, like you can make it so dynamic and it's so much fun and I get to be so creative with how it flows on the body. But hummingbird is like people want the one pose.
Yeah.
It does the one pose.
The classic pose.
Yeah. Wings up.
Yeah.
Wings down.
I mean, like how many,
Halfway.
think about like, even just like, I love doing like lions and tigers, but like how many cool poses can they really be
I know.
What
that
do
are
you
cool?
mean? No, they can be snarly. Like they have different facial expressions. You can do things with the paws. You can look over the shoulder. You can do things with the tail.
Oh, I know that they can do a lot of things,
Yeah.
but what do people want?
Oh.
I know they can do a million things, but what do people want? People want either that stoic, like I'm just 100-yard stare, like tiger, or lion, whatever, or they want the like, oh, he's mad,
With the scar over the
with
eye.
a scar of his eye or something, or a little blood on the mouth. It's always one of the two. So you're not gonna, from there you can have the little variations, but it's
Can we add blue eyes?
and the blue eyes. That's the thing.
It's a thing. It's a very
That's the
popular
thing.
request.
That's a very popular request.
Freaking lions and blue eyes.
Lions and blue eyes.
Actually did a client had
Sorry, you got to throw a crown on them. Like always, right?
Yeah, bro. I love crowns with fucking lions.
They're the king.
King of the fucking jungle, bro.
a client of mine wanted her cat portrait, only the eyes, and she had blue eyes, the cat. So I did just the cat's blue
Blue-eyed
eyes.
kitty.
Yeah. I said, that reminds me of something.
But her cat actually has blue eyes.
Yeah.
So
So it's
It was a beautiful kitty, so I couldn't say no.
Cat.
I love doing pet portraits. People who want
Yes, me
pet
too.
portraits are always great.
They're great.
Oh yeah, of
So
course.
much fun. I'm like, first of all, yes, show me pictures of your dog. Send me more pictures of your dog. Tell me about your dog while I'm tattooing you. I'm like, I'm into this.
You
I
know
love
what?
True,
doing
true.
Now
pet
that
portraits.
I think about it in my entire tattoo career, now you mentioned that is a fact. almost every like pet owner that I've tattooed their pet or like a version of it, whether it was like a fun traditional version or like a really soft black and gray realism version of it, they've always been cool. They've always been
Of
like,
course.
right? Like they haven't been like terrible people that I'm just like,
We're great. What are you talking about?
I mean,
I think it's just something about people who are that passionate about their pets that they're like, I want this on me forever.
They're
They just
pretty
always
cool.
are fun people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like one of the happiest tattoos you can get. It's like, I'm
That's
celebrating this like little thing that loves me unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you need?
Yeah.
That's true.
Monkey.
Who will never appreciate your sacrifice, the hours that you got getting that tattoo.
No.
I suffered for you.
Oh yeah.
They'll lick it and infect it in a second. They'll have no problem with it, dude. Not at all. Man.
Yeah.
So like after 6 years of tattooing, where do you feel like you're at?
Where do I feel like I'm at?
Yeah.
Right now, I feel like it goes through. So I'm like a big believer in like if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And I think the kind of like caveat to that is to maintain is also work. Like,
to maintain is work.
To even just stay at the same level as work. And so I feel like I go through these seasons where I feel like in some capacity my work is like pushing, like either it's like moving in a new direction or I'm just really excited about drawing. It's just like, and I feel like I'm in one of those waves right now. Like I have a ton of like larger scale multi-session pieces that are all like partially finished and like I just keep thinking about them. Like I can't wait for them to come back in and work on them. I don't know. I just feel like my illustrating right now is really strong and I'm really excited about drawing right now. Like I just started a Shiva piece on a client, or no, not show. We were doing a Kali piece on a client the other day. And the initial email she had sent me was, you know, I want as many of the arms as I can on my outer bicep. And, you know, I think Kali with like the most amount of arms she's ever pictured with, I think it's like 10, like it's quite a lot. Right. And so like 10 arms and a face and like, you know, upper body, like
a lot
the
of
details,
stuff.
It gets smaller and smaller. We're talking
all
about
those hands.
right.
All those
And
hands.
little hands. Right. And so I'm reading through her email and I want all this. And then it kind of at the end of the email, it was just like, but like, you know, I don't want her to have like the super ferocious face. Like I don't want the tongue out. I want more of like a beautiful Kali. I want Andi to do what she does best. Like I just want a beautiful woman. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to lean into that part of the email.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing big Kali face on the front with like a big, beautiful headdress, which I always say I have the too much gene. Like when I draw, the amount of refining I have to do because it's just not tattooable. I love, you know, and then you zoom in on the iPad and you put way too much detail in. I just got the too much gene. But this is like the perfect tattoo for that, right? With the big, beautiful headdress
Especially
and all
if it's
this.
zoomed in. Yeah.
So I made the face really big because she was like, you know, I want her to be, you know, ferocious but beautiful. And I'm like, any subtleties you want in the face, like it has to be big enough to now have details to it. And then I just did, I ended up doing 3 hands. I did like a sword across the back. I did the trident kind of wrapping towards the front. And then I did a hand holding like a upside down skull, just like the top part of the skull is like kind of like the bowl, but also representing like the severed head part. And so I was like kind of nervous to show it to her because I'm like, she said you wanted as many hands as possible. And I was like, I did 3.
About 3.
I did 3.
It's more than 2.
I did 3 with lots of detail and jewelry and like all these other things that I felt like, I don't know, kind of reading between the email, like the lines was like the more important part of what she wanted. And she was like so stoked on the design. And it was one of those ones where it was like, I posted the photo of the stencil. I posted the little time lapse drawing. I posted like, you know, how far we got in the first session.
Steadfast Tattoo Supply, owned and operated by professional working tattoo artist Frankie Porcelli, demanding top-performing materials, from the highest quality pigments and medical supplies, to tailor-made needles and cartridges with true line weights. Steadfast also specializes in custom machines built from scratch in-house and offers professional or group machine building seminars. Steadfast does everything to keep you and your clients covered. Steadfast, supplies that work as hard as you do.
And it's one of those projects that like I was so keen on, and then you're posting little bits and pieces of it, and like clients are hitting you up that it's sick. Other tattooers are hitting you up that it's sick. And it's just like, it's so affirming to me that it's like,
that's a good feeling.
Yeah, I'm feeling like this kind of big wave with my work right now. And it's like other people are seeing that too. Because I feel like everyone's had this where like you're so stoked. You think this is the dopest shit you've ever done. And nobody cares. Nobody cares but you. But that's fine. Art's like that sometimes.
It really is.
but yeah, I just feel like there's kind of this push that's happening in my work right now. And I feel like some of the conventions and guest spots and people I've kind of spent time with over the past year have been tattooers that are really into their art practice outside of tattooing. Like lots of people who are really into painting and doing things that like, it's just not about being a tattoo at the end. And being around that energy is really inspiring to me. Like it gets me excited to create and push myself. And so I think like, again, for me, that goes back to like, I feel like one of the best things I do for my art practice is guest spots and conventions and exposing myself to other people and how they work and what they want to talk about, what's exciting to them. I think hearing people speak from a place of passion is really motivating to me. So that's kind of like what's happening with like my art. And then the other kind of like big exciting thing that's happening for me right now is, like I keep saying, I left conventions and guest spots. I'm actually hosting a tattoo convention in Chicago.
Awesome.
This June. It'll be the first year of the Third Coast Tattoo Show. And that's like, I've been a dream since I did my first tattoo convention. I don't know. There's something about them. It's the summer camp energy. I just took to it so quickly where I was like, this like sense of community, celebrating tattoo culture and like in all the ways that it exists, right? Because it's more than just an art form. It has like a lifestyle to it and like this beautiful, rich history. And it's like truly part of the human experience.
I think that's the part of like most modern tattoo conventions that I feel like sometimes there's a disconnect, or I feel like that's missing a little bit. That used to be the part where it feels like, oh, this is not just a place to get a tattoo. Like, no, this is part of like a culture and a lifestyle for a lot of people. Like there's more of that. I think that's why I really enjoyed the tattoo conventions that they would do in California, where they would have like, you know, the custom car culture and like, you know, custom motorcycles. Yeah. Because there are people that are also into tattoos and into like that, they're living that life.
Yeah. It was just like the whole general lifestyle combined.
It's a bunch of people that are like, I don't give a fuck. I get tattoos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I don't care, dude.
Yeah.
They have a similar one, I think, in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I've never gone to it. How is it? Have you been to it?
I haven't been, but the John, who does the Asbury Park, also does that one.
Yeah, I like.
So it's all about custom bikes, like you mentioned, and tattoos,
bikes, custom cars. Yeah, but it's so tricky, man, because I've been to other shows where they try to pull that off, and it doesn't always like just. Yeah, it feels forced.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A place where they did a really awesome convention that was actually in Barcelona. The Barcelona convention. They'll do like custom cars. They'll do like break dancing. They're having like
everything
in this place, where it feels like it's like this jambalaya of like cultures and of like but it feels dope because it's all around that city, right? So it's like it's so like that's what that city is about. It's like fitting. They have skateboarders, like they had all of that shit at that convention. Yeah, which is like find what's true in your city, find what's that essence, like, and put it all in one place and bring it all together. And like that way, when people from out of town come here, they're like, damn, this feels like. This is what this city feels like. This is what they're about. Yeah. Really dig it. I feel like I'm part of it. Instead of like those conventions that, you know, especially I used to do like 22 conventions a year. You know? So, you know, so like it was exhausting.
Oh my goodness.
I think the part
that's giving me anxiety.
Yeah, dude. I did like 22 a year. And like sometimes I would do like, you know, conventions and then I would talk to my friends, like you were saying, the guys that I would see, and they're like, what show was that happened? And none of us can really pinpoint it because it didn't feel that much different from the other city that we went and did that other show. It was just like the same thing.
Yeah, I was actually talking about that with somebody the other day where it's like there's so many cities that I can say I've been to because I've tattooed there, but I couldn't tell you a thing about the city. Like I went to a convention center that was either actually in the suburbs, not in the city.
Yeah.
Or was, you know, expo centers usually are in kind of like not the greatest part of a city or the most interesting part of a city. And so people are like, oh, you've been here, you've been there. Like, what do you think? Do you have recommendations? And I'm like, no.
I found late night food. I found one bar where a bunch of tattooers are hanging out at. Probably know we're that cool.
It's like Philly.
No, like iconic, like,
yeah.
You know, like, oh, this long-standing business over such years. Everybody goes there, and it's really part of that town.
Yeah.
You know, it's always just on the outskirts where nobody's
really knows.
Yeah.
Well, so like the long running, Chicago tattoo convention, there's the Villain Art show that's in Rosemont. It's been around for over a decade. I'm not quite sure what year they're at now, but it's a massive show. It's like a ton of booths, but it's in Rosemont. And like it's a suburb of Chicago, and I all the time as a Chicago tattooer, like I meet, where are you from, whatever, and I've done the show out there. Yeah, it was a really cool city. And like I come to find that their whole impression is my impression of most cities that I do conventions in, which is like you went from the airport to this suburb, back to the airport. You never actually went in the city. You literally didn't even go in the city limits, especially because O'Hare is right next to it's in Rosemont. So you didn't see any of Chicago. So like that for me was even just like, as somebody who's like such a passionate Chicago girly, like when I wanted to organize Third Coast, I was like, how do I do this where I can actually show off my city and show off like what I care about and why I think it's so great, and like solving funny little things, right? Like you're talking about like food and stuff like that, right? Chicago has like all these iconic, I mean, I know everybody brings up deep dish, but like as somebody from Chicago, like that's tourist pizza. Like, yeah, Chicago style hot dog, you should have it. You should have deep dish sometime. But I'm like, you should go to fucking Rainbow Cone, and like you need to have a Reiko Benny sandwich. Like these are like, like Chicago foods,
like local stuff that you know about. The treasures.
The good spots. And so like even just thinking about that as something that I thought was like, I was like, this is a silly little thing I'm doing for my show. I put together like a little food guide of like, here's some like late night spots that are open near where I'm hosting the convention. Here's like a list of iconic Chicago foods and like where I think the best places are to get them. And like,
that's awesome.
Okay, people have been so excited about that.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a great idea. I don't know if I've been to a convention where that has been done.
No,
where they'll give you
like, hey, you should, these are like recommendations from like locals that are like,
can I give you like
favorites.
something you should do?
Yeah, tell me.
You should make it so there's like almost like a scavenger hunt.
Oh yeah,
scavenger hunt. So you like give people a list of really cool places to go, and if you actually do make it to all the places you recommend, that person gets something.
Something. What's the something though? What's the prize you want?
That's why I gave you that job.
Bragging rights.
You're the boss.
I'll think on it. Yeah, I mean, I hope people do go.
Yeah, because that would be sick. That would motivate people like, oh man, I want to hit up all these spots.
Yeah.
Well, literally, the
what
other.
do you mean? I get a palm-sized tat.
A t-shirt? What?
You get a Third Coast tattoo.
All right.
Yeah. Get a shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick Kaiser sent me the other day a Dead Meat.
Yeah.
Sent me I always forget, right? Like tattooer names. Dead Meat. What up, Nick? Sent me a reel for like an Italian beef sandwich, and he was like, can you take me here? And he happened to pick a spot that is 10 minutes walking from from where the convention's gonna be. And I was like, no problem, baby. We can definitely go there. Like we can walk there from the show. Like there's just Chicago, there's good food. And in doing a small convention, it's just 100 artists. I wanted to do something intimate.
That's perfect.
Right. And it's something I feel like you hear all the time at shows. Like because I've known I've wanted to do this for so long. I've always kind of like low-key surveyed what people think of conventions. What did you think of the size?
Too big.
What did you think of like the prizes? Yeah, like I'm trying to hit just right.
Too small.
And so like people, I do hear that over and over again, that especially people who've been tattooing much longer than me, when conventions were quite different than they are now, kind of like you were talking about, that like people do really miss like small intimate shows where they felt like they could really connect with other people. And I was like, well, that's sick, because if it's a smaller venue, it could maybe be somewhere cool. So I ended up being able to find a venue that's in Fulton Market, which is like the big kind of like bar and restaurant neighborhood in Chicago. So
awesome.
Like the convention's going to be sick. There's actually stuff to do nearby. Like the Riverwalk is right there. There's good food, bars, stuff open late. You're in the city of Chicago, so you can like go check out the museums and stuff if you get in early, and it's not like a hike across
that sounds
to somewhere really far away.
Yeah.
And you said it's in June?
In June, last weekend of June, the 27th through the 29th.
You know what? Maybe.
Now you're thinking, right? You're like, maybe I do want to go to Chicago.
Crap.
Yeah.
Andy, I think
And
if I don't go to Italy, I know, because I do a month in Italy every summer.
Do it in July.
And it is going to be in July, but I just don't know if it cuts into the end of June and through July. That's why I'm like, no.
Well,
but it might be. It might be. No. No. I got to double check for you because that sounds awesome. I mean, you're freaking selling it.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
good.
I think, right. I think what you're hearing though is like, as I mentioned, like, it's like all about passion, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is something like, this is a part of our industry that like really resonates with me. It's something I really care about. And I'm like, what are the things that I wish like that there was like a little bit more here? Like, and like the little hosting things, like the food guide,
Absolutely.
like it's a silly little thing, but I'm like,
It's awesome.
To want to put on a convention, you really gotta want to put on a convention.
It is
Because I've been to
a
so
huge
many, and
undertaking.
I've never wanted to put on a convention.
You
I'm
make
like,
it
man,
sound like pleasant and
Yeah,
easy
in
and
my
all
mind,
that.
I'm like,
Oh,
oh my
God,
god,
no.
all the
It's-
logistics of all of these people and all of these things. It's like throwing the biggest, most organized party ever.
It is, but that's like, but that's how I feel about it.
But then you
like,
get drunk and it's
like
fine.
with like art, I feel like really I'm just throwing like a 3-day party for my friends.
Yeah.
Like for the tattooers, for like the attendees. Like I truly want it to be this excellent thing. And I care about people's feedback. I've always asked people what they do and don't like about conventions. As I've been working on it every little step of the way, kind of asking friends here and there, especially people who do a lot of shows, like, hey, I had this idea. What did you think? What do you think if I do it this way? What do you think I do it that way? Because, you know, I'm not the end all be all of like what is a good idea. And maybe some of the stuff I do this year won't work out, but I can tweak it for next year. And like,
Oh yeah, there's always
this is like
something
such
gonna
a
go
passion
wrong. And
project
then
for me, and it is really surreal that it's like here, right? Like right now, when we're recording this, it's April, and it's like, dude, the end of June.
It's like right there.
It's coming up, and it's an insane amount of planning and organizing, and it's anytime it gets overwhelming, I'm always just like, just keep going, like one step, one foot in front of the other, like it's all gonna come together, and everybody's been so supportive. People have been so excited about coming, like artists, vendors, sponsors. It's felt really cool that like you're saying, you're selling. It's like when I'm talking about it, people, I don't know. I feel like other people are seeing my vision, and it's like, it's such a cool feeling that this thing is like coming to reality that's lived in my brain for the last 5 years.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, because like us, like we've done a lot of conventions, you know, over the years, and there's always venues that, just like you explained, are missing a lot of stuff where it's exactly how you explained to a T. You come into the airport, you come to the convention center. It's sometimes located in an area that's not in the heart of something. And then that's all you know. And then you're just there like, yawn.
And I realized that I've kind of like written some cities off that I've done conventions in. I'm like, like the convention's great, but the city's really whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just what you saw of it.
But it's all I saw of it. I was talking about that with some friends who like lived in the city I was doing a show in, and they're like, yeah, but that's actually like right on the edge. Like you're barely in the city. And I was like,
what do you mean?
I don't know why that never occurred to me. That's how most convention centers are. Like it just, at that point, it never occurred to me that like, I'm not seeing the best of other cities. Just like, I feel like people don't see the best of Chicago when they like come do the Villain Art show in Rosemont.
Yeah,
man, I always thought that the coolest way to like kind of go on a road trip like that would be if you actually just rent a really sick RV and then you actually road trip it. And then when you go to a city, you do the convention, then you're like, all right, I got time to kill here.
Wasn't Bobby doing that?
No, I don't think Bobby was doing it. You know who was doing something like that? John Carley was doing something like that with his wife. And they were kind of just Winnebago type of deal.
Right.
Going around. That sounds like so much fun.
It does. It really does. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That sounds like a great experience.
Now you want to buy an
No,
RV.
Absolutely not.
Are you doing conventions? Are you guest spotting? Are you tattooing out of the RV? Like, paint a picture for me.
All of it.
All of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your job is only to experience things and to make money, to experience more things.
Right.
That's where you're at.
I mean, I'm seeing the vision.
I feel like that's it. You just get an RV and you're like, all right, this is rent,
tattoo
this
tour.
is life, this is everything, right?
Yep.
And you just keep it going nonstop.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that
I feel
do
like I
that,
need
right?
to
Like,
press one of those things at some point to
I mean, if you feel
act like Matt.
there, you feel
Yeah.
excited. I mean, he barely presses the buttons, but you can go for it.
I know.
Cool.
I'd be pressing mad buttons if it was me.
He doesn't even know what the buttons
full
do.
on.
Yo,
Yeah.
so
Pop quiz.
pop quiz.
I love that one. Out of nowhere. You see, that's great. That's great.
I say one word, you finish it. Sailor.
Jerry?
Okay, that's good.
All right.
Wonky.
Tiger.
Oh yeah.
Panther.
Yeah. Wonky Panther, Wonky Tiger.
Wonky Tiger. That's good.
I love his stuff.
I love his
What
stuff
up,
too.
Ian?
It's pretty cool. Yeah. Shout out Wonky Tiger. You did
Yeah.
good work.
Okay.
Like
I
your
wanna-
concepts.
So earlier we just touched on like a little bit on like cool tat names, right? Like when is it too late to have a cool tat name?
Do you want one now? Is that where this is coming
I
from?
feel like
You
I
want
do.
a tattooer name?
I'd love to have a tatter name.
I feel
My
like
alias.
I mean, with social media, it's like so interesting now, right? 'Cause so many people are known by their handles,
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
like fully.
I've always just had my name as my handle.
Yeah.
I never felt like the artist formerly known as.
Yeah, same.
But like it's changed so much too, right? Like when I think of kind of like, you know, at least the kind of more OG era of like American tattooing, obviously say like Jerry or like Shanghai Kate, like
Right.
Yeah, I love
those
that.
are like sick
Yep.
fucking names.
Yeah, they're dope.
Nobody
'Cause
wants.
they just correlate so closely to like a pirate nickname, you know?
I mean, those are catchy too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try saying my last name. Disaster.
All right, so we literally do everything. We're gonna help you 3 to 5x your income simply by maximizing your output. At the Force of Focus, we have 4 different members in leadership who have all dedicated more than half their lives to this industry, both in and out of the tattoo career, to give you every resource you could ever imagine. Everything from personal development to branding and marketing, content, business innovation, business infrastructure, and financial literacy and investments that are truly going to work for you. Now, if this is something you're interested in, or if you just wanna know more about it, click the link below or shoot us a DM at the Force of Focus on Instagram and let's get a conversation rolling.
Azemoglu. Come on.
Say that one more time.
Azemoglu.
Azemoglu?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Close.
Almost.
Yeah, I
See
mean,
if you're gonna remember it tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, other people will like mess it up.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then I'm like,
That's how Andi Ink was born. I have a very long, very Polish last name, and it was just like, this is not. It's hard to spell. No one's gonna remember it.
What's your last name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't put that in the podcast. They just have a
Okay.
stalker.
No.
I'm so serious.
Tak tak.
Yeah. Just bleep out when I say
Keep
my last
government.
name.
Beep, beep.
All right. Yeah.
Y'all are in the inner circle now. Don't tell nobody.
All right.
It's cool. You won't remember it.
Matt, remember to cut
Well,
this
it's funny
off.
because as soon as you said like I got a Polish last name, I was gonna be like ends with ski.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anzuski.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's hard to spell. And
Yeah.
people see when they see it written
And,
out,
yeah,
they're like,
and I
I
have to
don't
get
know how to
corrected.
pronounce that.
Yeah,
Which
but-
I don't care. Mispronounce it all you want. But it's not like when people are like, oh, who's your tattooer? Like
Yeah.
Andi Ink. It's so easy to remember. It's short. It's obvious what I do. Like, but it's not cool like Shanghai Kate.
Cool tatter name. Just grab your name, grab some form of precious stone, and then pick a color.
It's like naming tattoo shops.
That's pretty easy. Yeah.
It's like black as in the color, right?
Right.
Like black and then a noun, or like a certain number and then like an animal. Like there's like some standards for like how to name a tattoo
Yeah.
shop.
Black sapphire.
Yep.
Black sapphire.
Just put all those like parts in those like
Yeah.
little lottery balls that you spin the thing and just get 3 of them.
7
randomly.
diamond
Yeah.
tigers.
There you go. Yeah.
7 diamond tigers.
Dude. That's it. That's how they're born, man. That's
But
it.
I mean this
That's
in the best
really
way. Like,
yeah.
does the
And then,
name
you
of
know,
the tattoo shop matter though? Does
Yeah.
it matter?
I mean,
That's it though. It needs to just roll off the tongue. It needs to be
That's
right.
true.
Ideally, it's like easy for people to remember. But I think
Mhm.
especially now, like so many people, it's more about the individual artists, right? Like with social media and like people kind of being able to advertise for themselves.
Yeah.
Like obviously like a shop having a good reputation is important, but I don't know how many clients go like shop before artists now. You know what I mean?
That's true. I think it also depends on like location.
Mhm.
I feel like where you're
Also.
at makes a big difference. I don't know. I feel like even though people are drawn to like artists,
Mhm.
I think artists need to make sure they like fucking form together like Voltron.
Oh,
and
yeah.
understand that you are Voltron
Oh no,
when
the,
you are
the
together.
shop matters.
You
The
right?
shop
'Cause that's,
vibes
like,
matter.
That's
Sure.
like, you know, that's
just-
that's how you are known as like a unit.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like there's such value in that because then that's when like, oh, that person works at that shop. I heard about that place.
Mhm.
It's good. Those people are good.
Yeah, well, the vibe matters, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think people sometimes
Absolutely.
undervalue the actual experience of getting tattooed. Like, the final product matters, of course. Like, you should want to do good tattoos, your client should be in love with the tattoo you did for them. But I think the energy at the shop, how they're treated at the shop, the little things you do as a tattooer to like try to give them your best foot forward, I think that sticks with people more than a lot of people think.
I completely agree. The vibe of like even today when I was tattooing my client, even though towards the end he was like tired, the fact that everyone at the shop was like laughing and having a good time, that releases a little bit of like the attention that he has on himself.
Oh yeah.
That he's in pain and going through something like, oh man, everybody's like, you know, like somebody says something funny, he's like laughing at that at the same time being in pain. Oh, bro,
I will be a clown for your client, bro. If your client's having a bad time, I'm like over there like, what's up, bro? Absolutely. I'll be make an idiot of myself to make your client laugh.
It works. It works.
Does.
It gets their mind off it for a little bit and they have a better time. Then at the end of the day, they're like, oh man, it was fun hanging out here.
Exactly. And keyword, they feel like they're hanging out.
Yeah,
which is
they feel like they're hanging out at a place. They're like, oh, this is a place I come back to.
Yeah, especially when you're doing like, you know, larger scale work or people are like committing to like long multi-session projects and like, hey, you want to hang out with me for 8 hours? I don't talk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want that as a client. Like, I want to vibe with my artist.
Yeah, for sure. Something else that I like saw today at the shop, and we kind of discussed it as a group, and I want to throw it out there for you guys. So I don't know how you guys do like walk-ins or like most shops will resort to an up system, you know, like whoever shows up first and so and so and so on. So I don't know if that goes usually here. It's, you know, somebody comes in and then they'll be able to talk to a person until they get to tattoo. So I was thinking, I was like, man, why is it like this? It should be more like baseball. Like, like that was what I described it as. Like, it should be like baseball.
Like a batting order?
No, yeah, there's the batting order, right?
But then there's also striking out.
Exactly. They're striking out. You're up. You know? Yeah. Right? You're up. You know, that person came in, you're up. Go talk to them. And you can strike out. If you struck out, you're back to the bottom of the batting order.
If you get two clients walk out and they're like, I'll think about it. Yeah. They'd be like, you didn't get them. You didn't hit the ball.
You didn't hit the ball, like, dude. You're out of here. You are out of here.
Damn.
Watch how the pros do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come here, Sonny.
Chewing the bubble
$50.
Like, chewing the bubble gum like a pro. Like exactly. I hit anything.
Exactly. It's like, you know, like there's people that Gabe's, I'm not even saying it because he's right here. But, you know.
He's saying it because I'm right here.
But I say with him right here because it's respect. I've seen this guy talk to somebody that wanted maybe like just a quick little thing and gave him and held him all day to get the tattoo that they like really needed
that they really wanted to.
You know?
They didn't know they wanted it, but they really wanted it by the end of it.
And that takes skill, you know, because you're getting somebody from a point of a maybe to like, I can't leave without this. Right. And that's your job as a tattooer. And like sometimes people have like the customer has an idea, but their brain doesn't work like it's as crazy as like a client starts speaking and tells you an idea, you start drawing it in your brain. Your brain's like, their brain is just fog. They don't see anything in there.
Correct.
They have no vision. So like if you're able to quickly start painting a picture for them and then they can start seeing it and it becomes like a tangible thing and then they believe that they could have that on their body, they're stoked and they're like, I'm in for this shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? But it's your job as a tattooer to be able to create that environment. And so many times, you know, like I've seen like, I think it happens a lot more with, you know, a younger artist that doesn't have that much experience of like dealing with like people and talking to them and being able to be like, you know, go beyond somebody. There's a difference of like, oh, this person came and they liked my flash and wants to get tattooed by me. Then to this person, like, I just want a cool tattoo. This is what I want. They don't care about your flash. Kind of like what you were talking about earlier, right? They don't care about your flash. They want to get a cool tattoo, dude. How do you make that click with excitement? You have to be with the same excitement as if it was your flash that you get to do. And you still have to be able to turn that around.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that's the passion for for art and for tattooing, right? Like that's where there is like a disconnect for some people who are like, I don't understand, and maybe I'm wrong, but like people who don't understand why they're busy or stuff like that like, but do you want to tattoo just because you want to tattoo? Like you want to tattoo anything? You just want to like have that experience with your client? Because I think people feel that, right? When you're like not excited or about when you're trying to talk them into something that's like wildly left field from what they asked for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they do. But man,
They can sense sometimes when you're like, if you're like disappointed or not stoked,
But
you're
this
like,
is-
what do you want to get? And then you're like, so it's your skill to be able to not show that,
my guy,
you know?
you gotta be like that stripper dancing for that ugly fat guy.
Yeah, right.
She still makes him believe that he's the king of the castle,
That's-
daddy, and that he is getting it all, dude. It's the experience. You sell the experience. It's like a magic experience. And it's like, oh man, like they're really stoked about doing this shitty tattoo they don't really want to do. But it's your job as the tattooer to make that person feel like you're so stoked and excited to do whatever it is.
Yeah,
You know, like even if you're not that stoked about it, at least you're getting paid, my guy.
that's true.
It ain't free.
It ain't free.
Always one way to look at it.
Yeah, at least it ain't free.
We
And
are
you
the
never know, dude.
strippers.
Dude, so I've had like, it's funny you bring up that, and it's not a flex, but I've always enjoyed when a client walks in and I'm stoked on their idea, whether it's like something simple. And like you said, sometimes even I'll be stoked to even like do some like very crisp like texts, you know what I mean? Because that's a
Satisfying,
technical,
dude.
it's a technical practice for me and it keeps me sharp. But I've had those experiences where they want to get simple text and then I'm like, absolutely, I'm stoked to do that 100%. And then all of a sudden on my own accord, on my own time, I'll be like, I'm going to offer you a couple options. And then all in front of them, do my version of how I can do like writing. And I was like, you know what? Like your look, everything about you, I feel that something like this would be cool. And I just draw it. And I'm like, you don't have to, there's no pressure whatsoever because they already have options.
Yeah.
And then they end up getting like my version of something. And then I end up having even more fun on it, having more passion towards it. And then they are blown away. And then to see them so stoked is awesome. And then they shoot me a huge tip. And it's just like, check mark, check mark, check mark. Everything was great. And then they come back and then I've got them for life.
And they're the ones that tell you, right, that tell their friends to come get tattooed. Because they're like, oh yeah, like I went for this walk-in and like this dude was stoked. Like
I love that.
He had other ideas for me. He got them really involved in the process. And kind of like you were saying,
I got them involved in the process because they saw me, I was creating something while they were there. And I was just like, what do you think? You know, and they were like, whoa, I never thought about that. And that is sick. Let's go with that.
Right. And that's like, right, circling back to what John was saying about, I think, especially like as a tattooer, when you spend your time around all these other tattooers and other people who we all have that visual, like someone can talk about something to us and we can see it. Right. But you are right. So many of your clients, I mean, I get emails from people who are literally like, I'm not creative. I can't picture this. I don't know. And like, we'll send maybe even really disjointed references where I'm like, I'm not seeing a common thread here at all. This is just a bunch of stuff you like that has nothing to do with the tattoo you're talking to me about getting. Yep. And it's that like visual disconnect and being able to with like a text piece being like, right, wait, what? We could do a Times New font. But like also like, what do you think of like some script like this? I think this could be cool too. And it's like that truly didn't come to mind for them because they hadn't seen it before.
They hadn't seen it and they hadn't seen it right in front of their faces either. So that's like a variable that I guess it's just like I don't see it being practiced that much, you know, from, I'm not going to say this generation of tattooers, but, you know, because I don't want to knock on the new generation because there's a lot of tools available to them, but there is a sense of pride that I get with my, like what I call like the battlegrounds that I went through with the street shops and just dealing with very different walks of life and being open to many different ideas that were outside of my comfort zone. And, you know, you just take all those tools in there and then you're able to really be like, you know, narrow things down, like, you know, kind of like that you're able to do all those calculations.
Yeah, your
while
brain's going.
while
They're
the
talking, and you're like,
yep, and you're already like mathing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that chick
That
meme, that
meme.
meme with the lady that she's squinting and all the equations are right. in front.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
But I like that framing too, right? You look at it as you weren't like it's a project that comes in that that you don't want to do. You framed it as it's a project that walks in that's out of your comfort zone,
Right.
Framing it as a challenge to yourself,
Exactly.
like to push yourself as an artist to create something that's different for you.
Okay, correct. Yeah.
if I'm up, there's no way that I'm passing that tat to anybody.
Right.
Just so you know. That's how it goes down. We're gonna figure it out,
Yeah,
player.
and
We're
that's
gonna
how it used to
figure
go down too. People
Yeah.
were like, "It's my turn."
Oh,
like,
boy.
I don't want to
Yeah.
mess this up. You know?
No,
That's
no. I'm in.
yeah. I'd be like, I passed this on.
Put me in, coach.
Put me in, coach. Yeah, I want to swing that bat.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it's funny that you say that, dude, because that's what I thought about an analogy of like, man, you got to swing at it and throw your ideas, like at people. If they shoot them down, that's fine.
yeah,
But you got to go for it, and you got to go for it before you start discussing money,
right.
because money's such a quick deterrent for
Mhm.
somebody.
It is.
Like imagine if you
It is.
started looking at a Instagram video and the first thing that it said is like, this is going to cost you $2,000.
Right. Yeah. Nope.
They'd be like, fuck this,
Exactly.
dude. But
Yeah.
if you're trying to do top quality, like, all day full session sleeves on people, that they're going to spend that $2,000 on your work, right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's not how that's not your lead in to what
No,
you're trying to
my lead-in is gonna be 8K, vivid color, the most vivid
Yeah.
color you're ever gonna get, like the crispiest, like pixel by I don't know what.
Bro, yeah,
I'm selling a
dude.
TV here right now, obviously.
dude. But you gotta really learn to talk to your customer, talk to your client in a way where you can and I hate to say it, but you gotta find the emotion behind why they want to do it, why they came into the door that day. Once you figure that part out, you unlock the key.
That's right.
Well, even when sometimes they'll ask me, I'm kind of in a budget, this and that. I'm like, let's find first what you really want, like the ideal design, and then we can talk money.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Because then you can be like, we can do this, or we can do your ideal version, and it will be a little bit more, but at least you'll get something you really want.
Yeah.
And then
And people are stoked.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, when people maybe spend more on a tattoo than they thought they would ever spend on a tattoo, after they have it, then they realize, I'm so glad that I did spend this money on this tattoo. And then especially after they become like a client and they've seen you, they're like, oh man, I can't believe that I was going to cheap out and get some bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. And look what I have now. I have this incredible piece. I never would have imagined a tattoo can look this way. And they almost don't even bat an eye.
No.
Because they see the worth and the time that you put in as an
The
artist.
value.
The value. They really see the value.
They see the value.
and they're like, wow. And then, it'll help when peers and people around them tell them like, oh, it looks incredible. It looks incredible. It looks incredible. And then yeah, that goes without saying. But there's like an art form to that as well.
There's an art form to that.
Because tattoos, and I feel like all our tattoos are high quality and they're expensive.
Yeah.
They're expensive. And if you start off talking money right off the bat, I feel like I wouldn't have any clients at all.
Yeah.
No.
There, because they'd be like, whoa, it costs, how much?
It's this much? What?
Shit.
Yeah. You can't definitely give people some of your time, give people some value to your work. Even just being able to educate someone. There's times that I've didn't tattoo somebody, but just taught them of why their idea or where they were going with it was a bad idea. And I'm like, bro, this is not going to happen. This is just a bad idea.
Yeah, I've worked you.
I'm gonna
I've
tell
heard
you,
you. I've overheard John.
I'm like, this is why this is a bad idea.
But that why is so important, right? That circling back to involving your client in the process. If you're telling somebody no, or we should do it this way, not that way, and you can't back up why that is, if you can't explain that to somebody, why should they trust your opinion? Now it just sounds like it's your personal feeling, right?
Yeah.
Like
You're
I
100% right.
want to do it big because I want to do it big. And it's like, that's not,
It's not the reason.
you know, then like that doesn't, I don't know. It just
I have
doesn't
bills
come
to pay.
across-
Come on.
Right. Like it really does. Or, you know, like to me, kind of like the silly, like easy example is, you know, the upside down tattoo on the wrist, right? What happens all the time. People want their tattoos upside down on their wrist because it's for me. All your tattoos are for you. And my thing is always like, do you think you'll continue to get other tattoos? Because the fact that this is upside down, aside from just people are going to tell you it's upside down all the time, which is fine. Just know that's already happening. And then the other thing I always bring up is if you're going to continue to collect work, it's going to become very obvious that this is upside down. Like it's going to be in contrast to everything else. I think you should flip it. But also at the end of the day, this is your body.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you want an upside down tattoo, let's do an upside down tattoo. It's really okay. I actually had one client, I am now remembering, it was a really teeny tiny little lotus. But we had this whole conversation. She's like, I really want it both ways. And then we ended up coming up with a mirrored design. So it was
Nice.
like faced, but it was, you know,
Yeah,
faced
that's cool.
both,
Yeah, that's
both
cool.
ways. And that
Mhm.
worked for her. And it was like everything
Neat.
she wanted, it was facing her, but it still wasn't upside down. So the rest of her collection could grow. And like,
Cool.
there's always little
Yeah.
solutions,
Well,
but you have to have that conversation. Right?
Guess what I did last week? On the back of a hand was
Upside
scribbled
down?
upside down.
You did some upside down script on
Yeah,
a
I
hand?
kept insisting. It's like it's for me. It's this and that. I'm like, cool. You know what? Fuck yeah, we'll do.
That's the
Yeah,
come
but
on, buddy.
After-
You try your best.
I
Yeah.
tried.
Yeah, you
After
tried
5
it.
minutes, he really
Absolutely.
was
I'll be
locked
like,
in.
Listen, you're a paying customer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what you want. This is what you get.
We'll just
baby.
do it great,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
upside down. It's fine.
I'm in a service industry.
And it's
Right.
that understanding too that I feel like I talk about this a lot with clients. Like when I show them a design and you see that like little bit of hesitation where they're like, yeah, this is really cool. And you can feel that there's something they want to change, but they're not gonna. I always am like, real quick pause. Like I'm confident in my art. I think I'm a good artist. I think I make good tattoos. I think my drawings fucking roll. If this is not what you want on your body forever, that is an entirely different conversation. That has nothing to do with the quality of the design I made for you. And being able to kind of like take that little step back, I think helps actually a lot. So there's a lot of ego in tattooing, right? It's like an industry with a
Yeah.
lot of ego.
And you
Man.
you have to make sure you're not like hurting your own. Like
Yeah.
you know where you're at.
Right. And
You
taking
know.
that little step back and going, just because this isn't what somebody wants to wear forever, there are tons of tattoos that I think are fucking beautiful, gorgeous. I do not wear them. Japanese bodysuits blow my fucking mind. I don't have any traditional Japanese tattoos. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate them.
Yep.
It's just not
Yeah.
what I want to personally wear.
Mhm.
And I think being able to make that distinction makes it a lot easier to be on the same team as your client.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't get too caught up on tattoos that are gonna live their own life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not yours.
You're never going to see them again,
Yeah.
most likely.
I think too many people get caught up on
Yeah.
like, it's my tattoo or it's my work. And I'm like, bro, they're gonna pay you for that. It is theirs.
Yeah, it's a team effort. I
Yeah.
tell
It
people
is
that all the
theirs.
time, right? When
Yeah.
clients are like so stoked and they're like, oh, this is great. You did such a great job. I'm like, bro, you did such a good job. And they're always like, I didn't do anything. I just laid here. And I'm like,
No.
no, that's doing something. Because there's people
Yeah,
who
that's
can't
true.
do that.
You really can't lay
Trust
there.
me, you can make this job harder for me. And
Yeah.
you did not. Like,
Also following through with multi sessions.
Mhm.
That's huge. When
dude,
a
the
client's-
time and the commitment.
You know
Yeah.
how it feels.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
So
I
your
have,
back?
full back piece.
yeah,
that
large
was,
projects,
was
multi sessions.
4 3-day sessions on my back.
Oof.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah.
It's heavy coverage. There's,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of
Shit,
skin.
though. No, he did a really good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Shout
Lucas.
out Lucas.
Lucas Adams.
Adams.
Yep.
Sexy boy.
Sexy boy.
He's always got skills.
Boy's good.
Yeah.
But he
That
also-
boy good.
But his training grounds were insane, you know.
I
with
know.
the-
That's how you push yourself.
what is it? The what
The
was it?
Reaper boys.
The Reaper Boys.
Reaper
Oof,
boys in the building.
My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
thank you so much for hanging out with us
Yeah.
today.
Talking
Yeah,
with us,
thanks
yeah.
for having me on the podcast.
Good.
Yeah.
And we will be looking forward to hear more about your convention.
Yeah, Third Coast Tattoo, June 27th through the 29th in Chicago.
Do you still have room?
There's a good chance that I'll be able to make it. I'm just
Okay.
gonna go over my
Gabe on the podcast telling me you're not going to do it anymore. Okay.
no way. No way. No, it's just I'm also like one of those Freaking people that I forget. Like, you know how people that don't block off their calendars until like they're getting I might be able to make it. I would love to. Because as soon as you gave me the flyer, I was like, ooh, I haven't been to Chicago yet. I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool city. I'm biased, but it's a cool city.
Oh, well, you should be.
Chicago. Anyway, guys,
Yeah.
thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hermes, thank you for filling in for fucking Matt. You had to leave.
Hey,
He's looking for it.
Hold on.
Yes.
You gotta hold.
What happened?
Just like that. Hold. Perfect. G-Money, always great. And guys, thank you guys so much. Make sure you like this video. As always, we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.